No, they didn't. And if I'm to paint this in a positive light for United or slightly negative light for Arsenal, I can only say exactly as you just did, Alexis, that there was only one goal in it. And when there's just one goal in the game, who knows what can happen? A slip, a mistake, miscommunication, an absolute bolt out of the blue from somebody in red changes the our entire conversation around this game. None of those things happened. So in truth, we're talking about an Arsenal win that was a little bit closer than maybe a lot of the game felt. It was all Arsenal needed. They controlled the tempo, they controlled the ball. I'm just a little bit surprised, as I say, that they didn't maybe get into, I'll be kind, they didn't get into fourth gear in wanting to get that second goal. And so at least kept the United fans, all of you, on the edge of your seats and hoping for more. But more just never came.
I think that's the thing. You almost were hoping for more from Manchester United. You felt that obviously Arsenal again didn't necessarily need to put out their best performance because they weren't challenged as much as they needed to be. But looking at United, the fact that they are winless in their last 3 games now, the fact that they were absolutely thrashed by Crystal Palace. I think their last win that they got was Sheffield United, a relegated Sheffield United, who did scare United in that game as well. You're almost wondering where that thing is going to come from. And again, we were left wondering the same thing today from United.
No, it's not. I mean, United over recent weeks, probably the highlight, and I can say this as somebody who's not a United fan, but the highlight of the weekends almost is Erik Ten Hag's post-game press conferences. Just wondering what he's going to come up with now to try to explain or what we all just witnessed. Try to convince us not to believe our own eyes, and that's where we are right now with Manchester United. And just to speak about from a neutral perspective or an analyst perspective about United and maybe how far that bar has been lowered is the opening 10 or 15 minutes. I'm thinking United are looking good here. They're really playing well, and then I just stop and think, but Raya hasn't had a thing to do. For as good as Arsenal have been, Raya has just I can't remember him taking a cross. Pretty sure he didn't make a save of any kind of note. And that's just where we are with Manchester United now, that we're almost wanting to see them find some kind of a spark, but it never really comes. And then you end up kind of hitching that wagon onto, players running around a lot, and as though that's supposed to mean something. And that for me is a scary place to be when you consider the Manchester Uniteds of old. The Manchester United that made you a fan, the Manchester United that made me as a player dread going to Old Trafford or seeing them come to any of our own home stadiums. They're just so far gone from that. It's a little bit sad.
I think it's very sad, Shaka, because the Manchester United of old, as you said, that made me become a fan, also tended to boast very strong defensive lines as well. And I know that defending has changed, has evolved as well. And, you can argue the type of defending Erik Ten Hag wants his back line to do. And the fact that he doesn't have or has not been able to field his, when what he says, his first choice back line. But let's talk about the Arsenal goal there. Yes, of course, great stuff from Kai Havertz eventually to Leandro Trossard. But again, you expected more, at least for United from that defensive back line, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought Casemiro was entirely to blame, and I guess a little bit symptomatic of who Manchester United are as a football. And seeing Casemiro, particularly this season, it's maybe easy to forget how good a player he was in the white of Real Madrid. Casemiro was one of the best in the world at his position, bar none, if not the best. But now all of a sudden, seeing him look a shadow of his former self, again, kind of epitomizes everything that I was just saying about Manchester United. And now United in their defense, and I'm sure Erik Ten Hag will offer this at some point. Again, injuries have played a key role in how poor they've looked, particularly of late. Casemiro playing on the right side of a right-sided centre back in a back four. Left-sided centre back was Johnny Evans, who came to United in pre-season just to try to stay fit and finding a club. And lo and behold, it's Manchester United, and he's a regular starter, probably one of the more consistent regular starters for Manchester United. So that tells its own story as well. But again, as far as this game and that goal goes, it's down to Casemiro and a number of things. And yes, he's a defensive midfielder whose pass is his best, who's playing on the right side of a centre back pairing, and probably doesn't know the position as well as he does. But I think some things are just basic in football. Andre Onana has the ball. Andre Onana is passing the ball out or looking to clear it, and Casemiro is behind Andre Onana. That's just for starters. Why he is that deep, it's totally against every goalkeeper's instinct to turn back towards your own goal, even if it's to make a pass and a backwards pass across the face of your own goal. That was never going to happen in a month of Sunday. So I'm not sure why Casemiro took up that position to start with. And then once the ball is cleared, he just takes his jolly old time coming out. And that keeps, and Johnny Evans pushes higher up because Manchester United are trying to play this higher line. So his natural reaction is, as the ball goes, he pushes up. And it's only when when the ball kind of comes back into Kai Havertz and Evans looks around, he realizes how deep Casemiro is. He is not, even as he glances over his shoulder, as the ball is going forward, he can't even see Casemiro in his hindsight. So he pushes up thinking, yeah, this is the line. And credit to Arsenal, huge credit to Kai Havertz in recognizing where the space was and recognizing where Casemiro was, and exploiting it. Trossard with the simplest of tap-ins. And that was the deciding goal. And it seems kind of ridiculous that that's the goal that decides this game. As in